What's up, core reporters, and welcome back to my channel. Oh my goodness, do I have a story for you? Teen mom to baby daddy Chris Lopez went on quite the rant on Instagram Live, or was it TikTok Live? Can't remember, but I do have to shout out both Teen Mom Shade Room and TM Chatter or Teen Mom Chatter for having the screenshots. So definitely make sure to check out their pages if you haven't already to see for yourself just how unhinged Chris's rants were. Okay. So basically, Chris ranted that right now he is not free to move on with his life because Kail's mistreatment of him is still weighing heavy on him. And so, in order to free himself from the shackles of Kail Lowry, he has to launch a Patreon page so that you guys could subscribe for more like info on how much he hates Kail, basically. He also said that he warned Kail's fourth baby daddy, Elijah Scott, against like moving forward in a relationship with her. He said that he saw the mess coming from a mile away. He says that people don't change, people always have the same patterns. And when he saw Elijah walking into his situation with Kail, he was like, listen, I just want to have a convo with you to warn you against her. I've been where you were. I was manipulated. I was this, I was that. I was loyal to someone who wasn't loyal to me. Like a lot of mess like that just made me laugh so hard because Chris Lopez claiming to be loyal is just so like insane. It's that, you know. And I gotta say also, look, when you see the clips of him ranting, like ça se voit qu'il va pas bien, you know, ça se voit qu'il va pas bien. Like you could see that he's not doing well. Like his like face, like he's so gaunt and he's just so frantic in the way that he's speaking. So, you know, I do believe that this is like weighing on him, but like he's giving delusion because like we know that Kail was like down bad for this man. She told us on her Baby Mama's No Drama podcast that she would have sucked his big toe if he asked her to. She would have bought him a BMW i8 if he told her to. We know that she bought him a designer dog, which by the way, whatever happened to that designer dog? I believe it was a French bulldog. She spent like, you know, 5K on that for him. Like she wanted like this man more than she ever wanted anyone before. And the man wouldn't even claim her as a girlfriend. He already had a girlfriend before he met Kail. And then he had other women on the side too. So for this man to turn around and say, hey, I tried to warn Kail's like latest man, like, you know, and that I was loyal to someone who wasn't loyal to me. Like, I'm sorry, but laughing my behind off, right? And so anyway, if you want more tea on like how much he hates Kail, basically he's launching his little podcast situation that you guys can go ahead and subscribe to. I'm gonna wait and see how much it costs. Like if it's a reasonable price. And Chris, if you're listening, you have a proper microphone because the last time, the audio was painful to listen to. And if he starts like to open up his mouth when he speaks, and if he starts to enunciate words, then I will go ahead and give it a listen. But otherwise, like it's very, very difficult to listen to him speak, for me anyway. So I'm kind of on the fence about it. Now, what else was going on? Oh yeah, more about Elijah. Chris claims that Kail and Elijah are actually engaged, which I don't think is all that surprising because Elijah's been wearing a ring for a long time. Kail's got some kind of breast milk ring that she wears on and off. And she's been talking about how Elijah has been begging her for marriage for, you know, quite a while now. And so I guess, you know, it makes sense to me that if she were to accept that she would keep it on the low because she has a very long history of like failed relationships and she's got a failed marriage and everything like that too. So I think that at this stage in her life, she would prefer to keep something like that quiet. And she's also someone who keeps like pregnancies quiet and stuff too. I think it's because of the amount of baby daddies that she's got going on and how quickly she breeds with people she doesn't really know. So to me, it only makes sense that like the idea of her keeping a marriage like follows suit as well, right? So there you go. Chris is saying that they are engaged. They are set to get married in September. And honestly, like, I'm not really scandalized by it. I mean, the girl, she's got 3 kids with a man. So like, I think it's great that like this guy stepped up and she already had 4 kids prior. And it's still so batch insane to me that this young man, right, who just gets fresh off a divorce. He says, you know who I should get with right now, fresh off my divorce? a woman with 4 kids by 3 different men, and then let me go ahead and pump out 3 kids with her immediately too. Like the honestly, I think all of these people need to get their heads examined. But I digress. So anyway, listen, I think it's great that he stepped up and he was really committed to staying and being there for her and her kids, and then the kids that they have together. And I feel like Chris is heavily triggered by this. I think he's like the type where he's like, oh, like, you know, she's got kids, like she's like untouchable. No one's ever going to want to be with her and stuff like that. And so now to hear that not only does someone want to be with her, but he's also someone who's like, you know, young and decent looking and who's got like a job and stuff. And that he wants to be an active father to, you know, all of the kids and to marry her. Like he is like, you know, damn, like after the way I dogged her out. Do you think he's experiencing some form of remorse? I almost feel like that's what it is. Like maybe he low-key wants her back, though he's obsessed with her right now. Like, you know, maybe he's looking at pictures like this and crying himself to sleep in his grandma's attic. I don't know, but I get the vibe, right? So back to him warning Elijah and talking about the marriage and stuff. For whatever reason, this man is so upset about the fact that Kail's kids with Elijah, Rio, Valley, and Verse, they do not have Elijah's last name, Scott. They have Kail's last name, Lowry. He's like, and he's like just pacing. And I'm telling you, he looks so bad. Like he looks like, you know, like he's going through it. Like he doesn't look healthy, you know? So, and this chair rolls, so it's going to be perfect for my example for you guys. Okay. So he's like, oh, you know, like she's got this man, you know what it reminds me of? Nicki Minaj, bullet fragment, you know, like that crazy, like, you know, rant she was going on. So that's what he's like. She's like, you know, she's got this man, 3 kids by this man, the kids don't even have his last name. Oh, I tried to tell him that it's not cool that these kids don't have your last name. How dare she? It's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, who cares that these kids do not have that man's last name? Like, it's not an automatic thing that kids must have their dad's last name. That is some dated like stuff from like, you know, women are property days. You know what I mean? Like it's not, it doesn't mean anything, right? I think it's great that the kids have her last name, right? She was not married to Elijah, so go ahead and give them kids your last name, you know? And if you're married to Elijah and you don't change your name, still keep those kids with your last name. They're your kids too, you know? So anyway, he's ranting so hardcore about that. And he keeps on saying that he tried to like, you know, warn Elijah. And he's like, you know, she's trying to portray a certain image. Those kids don't even have his last name. She's not trying to portray an image about that. She was always really clear about the fact that she regretted giving them kids your last name, Joe's last name. She always said, and she always was clear that the kids have Elijah's last name. She said, I never should have given these kids up. So what do you want, girl? Hang on. Sorry, guys. Apparently, I had some kind of timer on the Alexa, and I don't even remember. So anyway, she was always very clear about the fact that she regretted giving kids her baby daddy's last name. She said the only one that she did not regret giving the daddy's last name was Lincoln because she was married to Javi. So it made sense for her to have, you know, the kid have Javi's last name. The rest of y'all were jump offs, okay? Y'all were just, you know, little things here and there. And you know what? I completely agree with her. And so I don't see the problem. And I don't understand what this man is even so worried about it. Don't you have another kid by like another woman? Like, why are you so fixated on Kail, right? And so again, like, you know, he's just saying like, you know, how do you marry a woman who doesn't give the kids your last name? Like, it's just all this like such outdated, like sexist nonsense, you know, that just, it sounds so stupid. And it's so irrelevant to his life that it makes you wonder, like, why are you so fixated on what type of last name Kail's kids with another man have? Like, worry about your own life, worry about your own home. And he is truly, truly playing the victim in his relationship with Kail. Talk about, I gotta fight for my kids now. Elijah, this is gonna be you. You're gonna be fighting to see your kids. Listen, it is true that Kail does make them men fight for them kids. Remember, like she moved across states to keep Joe away from Isaac and everything like that, right? But Chris, in your situation, you were the only baby daddy that does not have 50-50 because you were unemployed when you were popping them kids out with Kail. You didn't feel like you wanted to have a job, so you were not fit to have these kids. You did not have your own home, Christopher. You were living in your grandma's attic, and you did not have a job. You were on social media like a chatty patty all day, every day, using up your grandma's Wi-Fi, eating up your grandma's food, sleeping on your grandma's mattress, okay? So don't come over here ranting like, oh, she kept me away from my kids, blah, blah. You were not able to be a father to your kids. You could not provide for your kids. So, of course, the what do you call this? Capable parent was given custody of these children. And not only that, but you tried to allegedly sign away rights for your eldest son, Lux, while she was expecting your second son, Creed. Right? So, what are you even talking about? He's acting like we have not been following the saga from the very beginning. Like the whole don't be loyal to people who aren't loyal to you. Who were you loyal to? Because it wasn't Kail. Okay. And then the keeping me away from my kids. Well, pay some bills for your kids, dude. Get out of your grandma's attic, get your own place, get a damn job. You are college educated. So what the heck is even going on? It's a bunch of nonsense. But again, listen, Chris wants to give all the tea. He wants to spill all about Kail on his Patreon page. He says, point blank period, that he will not be liberated. His spirit will not be free until he is able to spill his guts out to us for $4.99. By the way, he didn't officially announce the price, but I'm betting it's going to be like $4.99 or something like that. You know what I mean? It's, here's what I think. Personally, I feel like he is launching this Patreon because the GoFundMe didn't work. If you recall, about 3, maybe 4 weeks ago, someone in Chris's life, who was probably Chris going by a different name online, launched a GoFundMe for Chris's custody battle against Kail. Unfortunately, the GoFundMe did not raise enough money. And so I think that this Patreon is Chris's latest attempt to raise money to pay for his lawyers, which here's the thing, Chris, go ahead and make money, right, to pay for your lawyers. But again, you are college educated. Don't you have a kinesiology degree? Why are you, you know what I mean? I'm just scratching my head at why you need to do this to make the money instead of just, putting your degree to work, getting a job that, is in your field or that pays well and going that route. You know what I mean? I don't know, it's strange that this man, he could, and the thing that's even crazier is that Chris could have so much money right now because MTV used to beg for him to get on this show because the way Kail was obsessed with him, the way she saw him as a god, they wanted to see this stuff as a storyline, but he kept on refusing, talking about, no, I don't want to be in the public eye. I'm so private, this, that, and the other, only to do what? Only to launch bargain basement bin podcasts with no proper microphones. And then to start trying to get people to do some kind of day trading, pyramid scheme, then to try to drop ship shoes. And then he's doing GoFundMe's. And now here he is launching a Patreon. Chris, if you would have joined Teen Mom 2 when they were begging for you on that show, you would have so much money. You would have been able to hire these lawyers on your own and still be making it rain in other capacities, it's crazy. You never would have had to live in your grandma's attic, all sorts of things like that. This man is the epitome of fumbling the bag. Too good for MTV, yet not too good for a GoFundMe and social media ranting about this woman 24/7. Too good to claim this woman and officially date her, but not too good to obsess about her on the internet every single day of your life for the past 5 years. I think there's something going on, you guys. I don't know what happened, between the two of them, but something went on that caused Chris some sort of a mental break where he's stuck in this loop where he just lives, breathes, and sleeps Kail Lowry. Even Kail on her podcast that I endure on a weekly basis for my channel members, she has toned down her chatter of Chris Lopez. She's not on the same level as Chris when it comes to talking about this relationship. Yeah, she'll make a quip here and there when something that she's speaking to about relates to her past relationship with him, but she is not getting dressed, going online, and then deciding to do a full-blown rant about this man on a daily basis, the way that he does about her. Okay, there's something going on here. C'est une maladie à ce point-là. It's a sickness at this point. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this. Will you be signing up for Chris Lopez's Bash Kail Patreon or not? And how do you feel about him claiming that he had been warning Elijah against the big bad Kail? Woo! I want all of your thoughts. I want all of your opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we will chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And once again, make sure to check out Teen Mom Chatter and Teen Mom Shade Room for the full rant videos. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.